I'm flabbergasted this cost $50. Sex toys are expensive. If this was the same pig I'm thinking of, it definitely wasn't a sex toy. Not with that attitude. If you enjoy these videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Also, stay tuned for some funny comments in the thread throughout the video. What's one of the dumbest things you've ever spent money on? I was 11 and my dad gave me $50 to spend at the mall. So, I wandered into a gift shop and spent it all on an electronic, vibrating, oinking pink pig. I never played with it after I brought it home. Tried to return it only to be offered store credit. You taught your father a valuable lesson in financial responsibility. That's a great way to put it. Nothing like spending your dad's money on RuneScape Gold when you're 12. In my high school days, my friend once showed me his greatest shame. He opened a drawer on his dresser and it was full of used cards for NX Cash, the currency Nexon uses in MapleStory. I asked him how much it was and I forget the number he told me, but it was easily a couple $100, if not more. He said he stopped counting because he didn't want to know. In his defense, his Ice Lightning Mage was fucking sick. Not gonna lie, this kinda makes me want to go back and play MapleStory again. Get on one of those old school servers, baby. A few years ago, the main one was already so feature bloated, it was insane. Well, at least you were smart with it. You could make more gold. Make enough and you can sell the gold for your money back. Lol. Spending your dad's money on RuneScape Gold when you're 12. I did this with lunch money my dad gave me. He'd give me like $5 a day for lunch and I'd save up all week, turn around and buy RS millions from a friend that would grind all week. I feel kinda bad for how much time he spent grinding to get those millions, but I made out like a bandit buying them from $5 to $10 a mil, depending on how well I negotiated that week. Cries, I had a full Halloween mask set, several Santa hats, an Easter egg, half wine jug, and other rares I can't remember now. I do remember finding out that trading was disabled, now has been returned, but trades have to be equal value, last I saw. And after finding out that trading was disabled, I was devastated because I had more fun making money in the game, buying and selling rares and items that I did grinding levels. So, for some reason, I rage quit by taking all of my rares into Tavily Dungeon and dropping them on the ground for no one to pick up. When trading was disabled, you couldn't receive C items that people dropped either. Imagine the feels when they returned trading and I realized I dropped literally over $2,000 worth of items. But, oh well, it's just a game. Right? Cries, F. Yep, this is why I try not to police my kids' allowance money. It's their money, wasting it now and not when they're 18 with a real job money is a good lesson. I draw the line at predatory cell phone games though. Those shitty little Skinner boxes are too well tuned towards preventing you from learning that lesson at all while bleeding you dry. And a valuable lesson is never free. Exactly. I spent $200 on a valuable lesson about never loaning someone money ever again. Did it alternate between walking a few steps and then vibrating and oinking? I had something like that when I was little. Lol. I did too! Mine was almost exactly like this one. I think mine was the original 1986 version too. That's the one! I had one like this and it broke when I let it go off the table, so I had my mum buy a rainbow coloured one. Lol. Ha! I think I had one of those too. Were they a fad or something? I had a Fox version in like 2008. For some reason you could feed it? There was like a pouch for its mouth, so I gave it a bunch of cat food to weigh more. Yep, no way to get that out. I'm flabbergasted this cost $50. Sex toys are expensive. If this was the same pig I'm thinking of, it definitely wasn't a sex toy. Not with that attitude. So was my dad and aunt. My family visited Colorado when I was 10 and I saw a statue of a mosquito in a gift shop with the words "State Bird" on the bottom and begged my parents for it. We now have a rather large mosquito statue on our piano. I'm king of envious, to be honest. Odd piano toppers are great. Funny, but the joke would work better for most any other state. Colorado is arid and mountainous, so we actually have a very low mosquito population. I suppose that makes the statue ironic instead. Yeah, but 10-year-old me just wanted a sparkly mosquito statue and was like, ooh, I want that. We have a low mosquito population. Then they just really love me, I guess. Fuckers. Lol. If you enjoy these videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Also, stay tuned for some funny comments in the thread throughout the video. When I went on a school field trip to Washington, D.C. back in middle school, I bought a $2 bill at a souvenir shop for $20. Shake my head. That's a shame, they practically scammed a kid for 18 bucks. The bills they sell have never been in circulation. I agree it still shouldn't cost $20, but the reason is that you are buying a collector's item. Too bad they aren't rare. Speak for yourself, I have yet seen one. I pay almost everything with the card, so this may be my fault also. I think it's a treat to see one, but it's not like a unicorn or winning a small lotto scratch-off ticket. Get a job as a cashier. Bonus points if you're near a lot of old people. They love paying in cash and believing that kids these days don't think $2 bills are real. A lot of younger people these days don't think $2 bills or 50-cent pieces or even dollar coins are real. Laughing my ass off. When I was like 9, I found my first dollar coin. Up to that point, I'd only seen one 50-cent piece. My dads and I thought it was super rare. Now I'm 16 and I have like $4 coins and one 50-cent piece. I still have the original dollar coin too, lol. Now this is a great idea. Thanks. You can go to almost any bank and ask for some. The bills they sell have never been in circulation. So are the fresh bills you get from the bank sometimes. But once they enter a new location, aren't they technically in circulation? In circulation means it's being actively used in the public, as I'm sure the souvenir shop specifically purchased new $2 bills to sell this way, they would have never been in circulation. My mum specifically gets $2 bills at the bank to use as tips, put in birthday cards, and just to goof with cashiers. She occasionally gets change as if she paid with a 20 as well, since most people aren't used to seeing them. She gives it back, unless they are shady and cleaned, ironed regular $2 bills because they are selling to tourists' kids. A collector can instantly tell the difference between an ironed bill and an actual uncirculated bill. Not saying this person was a collector, but ironing a bill is essentially worthless. It does nothing but flatten the bill, but you can still see residual creases on the bill. There is nothing comparable to an actual crisp and uncirculated currency. The people buying from these shops are literally never collectors. They can get uncirculated money at cost. Widely available currency isn't a collector's item. Except widely available currency still is collectible, depending on what you're trying to do. It's meager, not very valuable, dare I even say not very impressive, but you've got to start somewhere, or whatever floats your boat. Perhaps you like to collect from every print. I know people that do that. I got into collecting when I was given a normal, circulated $2 bill. Been doing it ever since. I keep every $2 bill I get. Why? 'Cause I can. Just like older people in the hobby also keep a lot of seemingly useless things. I can tell you how many older people in the hobby hoard every penny they have because they still think the US ending the penny is just around the corner. I have like $200 worth of regular 1995, 2003 and 2017 $2 bills. That doesn't include the older ones or the misprints or what have you. He may have gotten ripped off. I don't know if it's a star note or just how old it is or whatever. 20 is a bit much for an uncirculated regular 2003, most common year in modern circulation $2 bill. It's silly. It's possibly a rip-off. It's still a collectible. I've gotten those at banks. Just give them like $2 bills and they'll give you a $2 bill. Life hacks. They cost $2, but then you sell them to middle school field trips in Washington, D.C. for $20. They used to sell replica Declarations of Independence at the National Archives before the movie National Treasure came out for $3.50. The filmmakers made it $30 in the movie. After trying to convince fans there was no $30 replica, they gave up and raised the price to match the movie. That's amazing. I wonder if the cost increase was worth it compared to all the customers they would lose from sticker shock. What the fuck, seriously? For amateurs. The real money is in breeding them, but wouldn't they come out as a $3 note? Only if they're from the same mint, but then you run the risk of it not being tender. No, because of the inbreeding. Just make sure their serial numbers aren't too similar, otherwise they start coming out as Canadian banknotes. The real LPT is always in the comments. Alternatively, you can have them order you crisp $2 bills, minimum of $200, but it gets you 100 of them. I do this and give them out to random people I have interactions with. I get a lot of, I haven't seen one of those in insert 2-digit year number, while others think they're fake as hell. Also use them as tips in restaurants. They're fun. I actually picked this mildly expensive habit up from a Reddit comment a while back. I don't remember the user, but all my friends know me for my $2 bills now. A good friend is an accountant. Smart, funny guy, but when it comes to money, he gets kind of sucked into it, especially if he thinks there's some kind of mistake. So for his wedding gift, I went to the bank and got 99 $2 bills and one $1 bill. Put the single about 2/3 of the way through the stack, put it all in a card. A couple weeks later, his wife, also my good friend, calls me laughing so hard she can barely speak. They'd finally gotten around to the gifts. He opened my card and started counting the money. He got to the single, stopped, looked at it, said something to his wife, so now she's watching him. Apparently, he carefully sets the single to the side, shuffles through the 99 $2 bills, counts them twice, looks at the single, starts complaining about the reasons why this shouldn't happen in an actual controlled environment like a bank. This whole time his wife is struggling to keep from laughing because the instant she knew it was from me, she knew I'd done it on purpose. She finally couldn't hold it any longer and bursts out laughing, which apparently kickstarted my buddy's brain out of account mode because he stares at her laughing for a second, looks at the money for a second, then just says, "Fuck!" and throws the whole wad of money to the ground. That's when she called me to let me know that my plan had reached fruition. Thanks, this was a phenomenal way to start my Friday. To be fair, it took me a minute to add up how much 99 $2 bills plus one $1 bill is. Admittedly, I'm no Mensa candidate. Co-worker said when he was in the military they used $2 bills at strip club for the same reason. I do this too. I call it spreading joy at 2 at a time. People get so excited to see $2 bills. I order them from the bank in lots of $500 and keep 10 or so on me whenever I can. This reminds me of an unintentional scam I ran as a child. My grandparents would give me leftover foreign currency from their travels, so around age 5 to 7 I was obsessed with currency and checked books out of the library about it. When I read something about a $2 bill, I was elated and couldn't get the, to me, apparent uniqueness of it out of my mind. I was a talkative kid, so anywhere we went, I'd start up conversations with adults about currency, which would turn into how cool the $2 bill was, and usually if the adult had a $2 bill, they'd give me it, as it was only $2, and I was so excited about them. I never asked, and I ended up with like $60 in $2 bills over a few years. Didn't spend them until my teens when it finally occurred to me that they weren't that rare or special, though I still have a fondness for them. Man, don't leave us hanging. This is the thread. So what was the dumbest thing you spent your $60? If I'm recalling correctly, I'd gambled with friends using the $60 in my early teens on Yahtzee and Monopoly. It wasn't that dumb, as I did generally win those games and ended up with about $200 to buy an N64. I was waiting to have enough for a game as well. Then my parents took the money from my room and bought an N64, 2 games, 4 controllers, and 4 Rumble packs for my birthday. But for some reason, them taking my money without me asking meant it was for the family's console rather than mine, which meant my dad would play it all weekend and not let me play. So basically used it to purchase an N64 that I didn't even own. That is so backwards. Yeah, that was the only time I got an expensive gift from my parents, and it wasn't even mine. At first I was ecstatic thinking I had an extra $200 for games I wanted, but then they explained what had happened. It didn't even include the one game I wanted. Fortunately, my grandparents felt bad, so they got my GoldenEye 64, so I at least had the game I'd wanted. I'm not normally one to criticize, but if you're really a solipsist, you should have made yourself some better parents. I'm very much a self-hating solipsist, giving yourself nightmares so that your sweetest dreams taste ever sweeter. Now that's how the great dreamers dreamt it should be. I used to go get about $50 worth and sell them at school for $5. We moved a lot, so it was an easy hustle. I take it you're in advertising now. Or politics? He runs a souvenir shop in DC.